Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Patra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand all the latest cues from the D-Street, starting from the benchmark index moves to sectoral action and all the stocks that are buzzing the most in trade. We'll also get you expert views to find out where exactly are opportunities emerging for you as equity investors in the current market setup. But first up, a quick look as to how the markets are looking like as of now. Now, we did open very near those all-time high levels, but the markets then saw some profit being taken off the table. Look at the Sensex, it's trading by 0.7% weaker in trade, 63,275 currently for the Sensex. The Nifty 50 is hovering at 18,792 with a cut of 33 odd points right there. So slight weakness coming in as far as the benchmark indices are concerned. When we also talk about the broader markets, the mid and the small cap 100 indices, if you look, they are the ones that are shining the brightest. 0.6% of an up move for both of them, nearing those all-time high levels. And, we can also see them charging in this bull phase continuously. When we also talk about the other sectoral indices per se, a lot of other sectors are supporting the move in today's trading session. You can see, for example, today the banks are not really inching higher. In fact, it's about the half odd percent decline. So the heavyweight counters from the banking space may not be the ones that are looking very good at this point in time. Apart from PSU banks, for example, that's the one that's still holding up by 1.14% up in trade. So that's the index that you need to watch out for. Apart from this, the healthcare stocks are doing better. So the pharma stocks are also in flavor today. 0.7% of an uptick for this one. The IT stocks have recovered the blow of the last three trading sessions, odd half odd percent of gains coming in for this one as well. Autos moving in slightly higher in trade. Financial services also, inching up by 0.3% odd in today's trading session. But if you look at the private banks, these are the ones that are taking a beating today. The realty space is down in trade. Oil and gas is declining today as well. Overall, Nifty Bank is also sluggish. The FMCG stocks are slightly down by 0.2% in trade as well. So mixed trading action as far as the markets are concerned in terms of the sectoral indices. Now, when we talk about the gainers and the losers, as far as the trend is concerned, on the Nifty 50, you will find some of the financial services names up in trade, like Bajaj Twins are actually performing well today and they are supporting the markets in today's trading action. Titan nearing all-time high levels as well. It's up at 2,995. L&T from the capital goods space is leading the show as far as the Nifty gainers are concerned. Sun Pharma is again at that 1,000 odd mark in today's trading action too. On the downside, you do see those private banking names not really participating. Kotak Mahindra Bank, Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, all down in trade. If you look at Adani Enterprises, that's slightly sluggish, and Hero MotoCorp also down by 1.2% odd. But time to welcome our guest on the show. Mr. Abhishek Basu Malik joins in. He's the founder at Intel Sense Capital. Welcome, sir, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. I was hoping that I'd celebrate this all-time high level on the Nifty today with you, but looks like the markets are going to test our patience a little bit more. Despite that, what we are able to see is that the broader market trend is actually inching up higher. So there is still hope. It could be just a matter of time when we see those all-time high levels. What I wanted to ask you is, what after we see that magic number of 3 times 8 on the Nifty index? What after that? We do see that number, and then what happens with all the investors, and how should they be approaching the markets?
So, first of all, thanks for having me on your show. I think it's actually very healthy. In fact, just a couple of days back, I was discussing with a few of my friends that it's actually good if we see periodic profit taking corrections coming into the market, because one way movement in the market is never good, right? It sort of aids in creating a lot of froth, a lot of exuberance, and then when the fall comes, that fall is much sharper and much steeper, and no one wants that. So it's much better to have pauses on the way up, rather than go up sharply and then fall down also. So I think today's kind of breather is actually very good. It lets people sort of settle down, pause, look at the stocks that they have, and then take positions in the market. So I think this kind of a day, or this kind of few days in the market is actually what we should be happy for.
Okay. In terms of the spaces where you are positive right now, where should the fresh money be going into right now? Where would you really be bullish now?
See, there are two segments of the market. One where there has been a lot of movement of fundamentals are supporting the price move. So those areas are pretty obvious by now. It's capital goods, it's engineering, it's defense, hotels. That is one space. The other space is where there's not too much of interest. A bit of say pharma, likes of chemicals. Those are not the names that you're sort of hearing right now over
Yeah.
the last few months. So those are both the areas I think are good for picking up stocks.
Okay, okay. I have one or two stocks on my radar today, so I wanted to take your view before we go ahead and talk more about the opportunities in the markets as well. I'll take first your view on Nykaa. Now, this stock is again coming on radar because a lot of brokerage houses are now turning bullish on this stock. In fact, they also believe this new age tech stock could actually rally almost up to 46% off from the current levels. Now, this is despite the disappointing performance that we've seen from Nykaa. In the last year, several brokerage houses are predicting the stock to go ahead, due to the company's balance between growth and profitability. We have, for example, I'll just tell all our viewers here, Kotak Institutional Equities is the one which has the most bullish target of 210 rupees from the current levels for Nykaa. It expects a 46% upside from here. We have Jeffries that predicts a target of 200, again a 40% upside from the current levels. Nomura has a buy rating with a target price of 183 and a 27% upside from here. I wanted to understand from you, are things structurally changing for the better, or this is just a move that we are seeing along with the other, new age tech stocks that have been showing some kind of bullishness that even this stock could move in tow right here? What are your thoughts on Nykaa?
See, I think Nykaa, if you see, I mean, there's not much which is happening, but it's just that markets have bottomed out, things are looking better. So
Yeah.
not only Nykaa, I mean, all the stocks that are there, which sort of IPO together. So whether it's a PB FinTech or whether it's Zomato, Nykaa, all of them are looking similar. There is some amount of buying interest coming in because people now think that okay, so for example, for Nykaa, I mean, it's a stock which has come down from 400 to now 150 levels, right? So people probably are thinking that maybe the bottom has been made,
Yeah.
and as in when in the next 6 months, 1 year, things can get better from here. And
Yeah.
I think that that is the thought process.
Okay, understood. But would you advise investors to take a pick right here at 148 levels?
I mean, again, I've sort of repeated this earlier as well. Nykaa is not a business which I am very comfortable with because there's a lot of competition. There's huge amount of competition. Too many D2C brands, too many large brands eyeing the same set of customers. Whereas the other ones, like for example, a Zomato or a PB FinTech, at least from a business perspective, they have some differentiated offerings.
Okay, understood that. The other stock that I wanted to discuss is, of course, one of the street favorites, Titan. This stock also is at 2960, 52-week high levels in today's trading action. We've seen, a lot of wealth getting created in the past for all those long-time investors from this stock as well. What do you really expect is in the offing for Titan investors going forward from here? Is there still a lot of sheen that it can provide to investors' portfolios? And is this a wise level to get into as a fresh investor at 2980 or at these levels?
So, Titan is a kind of stock which is a investment stock, right? So you don't want to sort of trade in this. It operates in a space where there are multiple, all its verticals are in spaces where growth opportunity is there. It's one of those proxy players of the Indian, sort of proxy players of Indian wedding market in terms of jewelry. So all the segments that it operates in has a lot of headroom there. It's a stock which you could sort of do a SIP on for the next few years and still come out well.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the fact that it's an all-time high doesn't make any difference. I mean, it will continue to have all-time highs as it keeps going up.
Okay, okay. But at these levels, one can start building up. Say, for example, if somebody is a fresh investor wants to invest for the next 5 years or so, is this the right time?
I would think so. I mean, Titan is always it's a great company. You could always, keep sort of doing an SIP
Yeah.
of sorts in a set of stocks like Titan. May not be a single one, but build a set of stocks, 5, 10, 20 stocks like Titan and build up your portfolio.
Right.
Always a decent buy.
Right. Now, since we're talking about this jewelry stock, I wanted to talk because today again we are seeing, sovereign gold bonds, another tranche, like, the first tranche for this financial year open for investors as well. For those investors who would want to really approach gold investment via stocks, we do have gold financing stocks listed on the exchanges. We have jewelry stocks like Titan listed. What is the best way to approach investments in gold via equities?
So I think gold via equity is the best option is to go for companies who are selling gold. So companies like Titan. I am personally not very fond of the gold financing companies because I
Okay.
think a lot of complications. Their business models are complex. They have a lot more of risk because they are monoline, sort of monoline businesses. In financials, I would much rather be with more diversified players who are in both commercial, retail, and all sorts of things, right? So
Yeah.
the large private banks are, or those are the kinds which I prefer.
Yeah.
Uh, so if you want to play gold directly through equities, I think the best option is to go through, you know, companies which directly operate with gold.
Okay, okay, understood that. Apart from this, I wanted to discuss the flows as well into the Indian markets. We've been seeing consistent buying coming in from the foreign investors, but we are still negative on a YTD basis in terms of flows. If I add to that the outflows that actually happened in 2022, even for the FIS to come back to their 2021 levels or so, they will have to come in with at least about 6 to 7 billion odd dollars. Do you see that level really coming in and supporting markets despite the markets now virtually trading at all-time high levels?
I would think so. I mean, if you look at the Indian markets globally, if, I look at the emerging market basket, there are not too many countries with large equity opportunity, uh, with deep markets, a lot of options in terms of number of companies that are there, reasonably sized market cap companies. So I think India is an opportunity for deployment of large capital. And once the panic sort of from uh, the Russia-Ukraine war and other macro-related headwinds have gone away, we've seen money come back, and I think that is a trend that is going to continue for the next few years. I don't see that changing anytime soon, unless there's something which drastic happens, which we cannot account for today.
Okay, understood that. The mid and the small caps, what kind of opportunities are you spotting in these broader markets since they are now coming back in flavor?
Yeah, I think most, the sectors that we spoke of, the mid caps, small caps in these sectors have been doing really well.
Okay.
In general, I think mid caps and small caps have sort of underperformed in the last 2 years, and it's sort of now catching up over the last month and a half. They've been doing
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's par for the course. It was high time that things in the mid cap, small cap space started looking up.
Okay, understood that. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Basu Malik, for being with us and discussing so many important topics and giving us all those insights. Always a pleasure having you with us on Business Today TV to talk more about markets. Let's look at the markets right now. About 133 points still down for the Sensex, 63,251, and even the Nifty is now down by 44 odd points at 18,781. So we inched very, very close to that all-time high levels, and the markets have seen some pressure building up on selling at those levels again. But what is important for us to see is whether we will continue to attempt towards those all-time high levels, and what are the factors that will continue to support the market sentiments going forward. So we'll continue to track the market movement for you, and you can do the same by being with us on Business Today TV. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also continue to engage with us on our other social media platforms as well. That's Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Until then, thanks for tuning in.